America's demand for permanent seats at the UN Security Council. And Ethiopia and France inked €28 million grant agreement to support reconstruction efforts. Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching at this news hour with the news. I'm Binyam Gatana. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in full, and do stay tuned. Ethiopian President Sahle-Work Zewde received the credential from newly appointed ambassadors of 7 countries today. Ambassador of UK, Romania, Algeria, Czech Republic, Guinea, Zimbabwe and Guinea-Bissau to Ethiopia have handed over their credential to President Sahle-Work Zewde. During the ceremony, the President expressed Ethiopia's commitment to reinforce friendly relations with the respective countries. Sahle-Work also said that she would support the ambassadors to further strengthen the bilateral relationship with their respective countries. The ambassador also expressed that their country's interest to work with Ethiopia. Take a look.
Of transport, I'm also very much happy to inform you that in very few months a new airline will be opened between Addis and Algeria, and both companies, Ethiopian Airlines and Air Algeria, will be serving this sector direct flight. So this will also increase and consolidate our relation and our business affairs relation. This will facilitate the exchange of delegation and will bring the 2 countries and Africa together.
I'm really looking forward. I'm prepared to cooperate to enhance the cooperation between our countries, especially in the field of development cooperation, which is very traditional for us here, and Ethiopia is the top partner in development cooperation, which doesn't mean just help, but mutual cooperation. And I would like to present in these fields we are interested in our companies as well. So it's especially a field of agriculture, environment protection, soil protection, and of course, traditionally, in defense sector as well.
Be working the United Kingdom and Ethiopia together in a stronger partnership of mutual respect and trust, building on a very long history of diplomatic relations and helping take together a really important agenda, particularly around peace, around economic development and growth, hoping that the UK can accompany Ethiopia on its journey back to strong levels of growth and poverty reduction.
My task here in Ethiopia is to strengthen the economic cooperation between our 2 countries. Zimbabwe and Ethiopia have historical relations dating back to before 1980. We have opportunities to share experiences and to exchange views on areas of common interest, especially in the development of our 2 countries.
And Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed met today with the Scholars Coordinating Committee. The Premier and the committee convened to undertake a review of the discussions held across 42 universities nationwide to examine the scholars the role of scholars in Ethiopia's development. It was stated that the discussions were held in 42 universities nationwide to further enhance the role of academics in the development of Ethiopia. In other news, French and German foreign ministers pledged to work for Africa to have a permanent seat in the UN Security Council. The 2 foreign ministers who have been paying official visits in Ethiopia articulated that the European Union is keen to intensify its relation with the African Union. This remark came while the two foreign ministers have today conferred with Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Moussa Faki Mohamed. Goshu Meleso has the detail.
French and German foreign ministers are jointly visiting Ethiopia to consolidate the peace agreement signed between the federal government and TPLF. During their visit, they met top Ethiopian officials, including Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. The two chief diplomats also met with African Union Commission Chairperson Moussa Faki Mohamed, and they have also discussed with the Commissioner on the ways of strengthening relations between African Union and European Union. After their discussion, African Union Commission Moussa Faki Mohamed said African Union has a strategic relationship with European Union.
Comme vous le savez, l'Union européenne est le partenaire principal.
African Union has strategic relationship with European Union. We want to further strengthen our relationship. We have discussed security issues with the two foreign ministers. Over the past 10 years, European Union has donated 2.2 billion euros to fight terrorist Al-Shabaab in Somalia. We have also discussed on conditions to solve food shortage and resource supply problems in Africa due to the Russia-Ukraine war.
L'Afrique est absente de cette instance importante.
In a joint statement issued after their discussion, foreign ministers pledged to work as a voice for Africa to have permanent seat in the UN Security Council.
We also, as European partners, that as a German foreign ministers, we see that the world in 2023 is not the world after the Second World War. And therefore, we are supporting 2 permanent seats in the Security Council also for the African continent.
French Foreign Minister, for her part, said her government will work to bolster relations between the two unions.
Parce que nous tenons au partenariat entre l'Europe et l'Union africaine.
We have agreed to further strengthen the two institutions' relations, particularly Africa's relation with other continents. We will also support Africa to have a permanent seat in the UN Security Council. In the 2023, we have a plan to support Africa's political, economic and social affairs. We also support Africans to solve their own problems by their own. We are witnessing that African Union and African nations played a significant role to reach a ceasefire between the federal government and TPLF. I wish for the success of the peace agreement.
Accompagnement de nos pays, et si nous le pouvons, de l'Union européenne dans.
The German Foreign Minister underlined that European Union is keen to intensify relations with African Union.
It's important for the two of us to come here to underline that we would like to intensify the relations between the European Union and the African Union. Because also we in Europe, we depend on a strong African voice. We depend on a strong voice of the African Union. And we are wishing for a stronger voice of the African Union in the world, because the African Union is standing for the same values we are standing for in the United Nations, for peace, for human rights, and for development for everybody in the world.
The foreign ministers have also expressed their readiness to support the successful implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area, as it will create opportunity to establish a strong trade relations with the European countries beyond the African continent.
Meanwhile, France's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Catherine Colonna, and Ethiopia's State Minister for Finance, Samarta Sawaso, have inked the grant agreement worth a total of €28 million today to support ongoing reconstruction efforts in the northern parts of Ethiopia, which was ravaged by prolonged conflict in the past. Daniel Kasson reports.
Following the Pretoria Peace Agreement, several countries have visited Ethiopia and are supporting the encouraging development efforts of the country. The signing ceremony, which happened at the premises of the French Embassy in Addis Ababa, consisted of the signing of 2 grant agreements by the French Development Agency in favor of reconstruction projects in the northern part of Ethiopia, worth a total of €28 million, which aim to support 12 million people in the areas affected by the war. Ethiopia's State Minister of Finance, Merita Soaso, indicated the agreement aims to consolidate the implementation of the peace process in Ethiopia and support the agriculture sector.
The first project will support the rehabilitation of the electrical network in North Amhara, Afar and Tigray, including around Alamata. The second project, co-funded with the EU, will focus on food security with short-term support to agricultural activities in all 3 regions, benefiting 400,000 farmers, including women who were victims of the conflict.
The fund will also be allocated for the first project to support the rehabilitation of the electrical network in the war-affected areas and on food security with short-term support to agricultural activities in all 3 regions. Catherine Colin, French Minister of Foreign Affairs, reiterated the agreement concretizes bilateral relations of the 2 countries.
I would just like to say one word. After the political discussions we had yesterday, after the discussions that we had at the African European population, so that peace can come back. This is the objective. Farmers to restart their agricultural activities.
Welcome to the land of origins. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is pleased to serve all your traveler banking needs. If you have money from any of these 16 countries, you can convert it to local currency by visiting our nearest branch. Alternatively, our secure Forex ATMs accept cash exchange, or if you prefer using your cards, we've partnered with Visa, MasterCard, and UnionPay so that you can withdraw cash from our local ATMs or make cashless transactions at thousands of local POS partners securely and with confidence. We are linked with more than 700 global banks through our direct SWIFT address, CBE Teta. We also work with 16 international money transfer agents, out of which Tune and World Remit enable you to make direct deposits into our savings and current accounts or our popular CBE Burr mobile wallet. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, the bank you can always rely on.
ያመውም የመጣ ከገርነ ንግስተ ሰባ ጋር እያያዘራሱ ለምንድነው እንትን የተባለው ማይለምን የተባለው ዘንደው ነው እዚህ ውሃው ይጠጣል ማለት ነው በርቀት ያዩን ሰዎች አይኑን ጎላጎላ ያለ በጣም እንትን ነበር ትላልቅ ነበርና አያችሁት አይኑን ሲሉት ሎሚ ያክላል ሲሉ እዛ ከዛ የተነሳ ነው ማይለምን የተባለው ነው የሚሉን እንግዲህ በታሪክ የቆየ ነው ማለት ነውና ከዛ ጋር ነው የሚያያይዙት
ስፍራ በ1996 ዓመተ ምህረት በፈረንጆች አቆጣጠር ማለት ነው የአርኪኦሎጂ ዳሰሳ ተደርጎበት ነበር የዳሰሳው ሪፖርት እንደሚያሳየው ይሄ ቦታ በቀደምት ሰዎች ማህበረሰብ ሰፍረውበት እንደነበረ ይገልጻል
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching at this news hour. Now step into another news. Ethiopians are enjoying the moment of peace now due to the Pretoria Pact between the federal government and the TPLF are being put into effect. Slowly and effectively, the walls of hatred and war between the TPLF-run Tigray and the Ethiopians are being tumbled down. During his stay with ETV at this news hour, Tigrayan politician Gadina Medin said the progress of the implementation of the peace agreement is providing hope for the lasting peace in Ethiopia. Johannes Fanton has compiled the full story. Take a look.
Since the signing of the peace agreement that ended the 2-year war in Ethiopia, the peace situation in the northern part of the country is showing significant improvement. The peace agreement, especially in Tigray, Amhara and Afar regions, has provided an opportunity for humanitarian aid and reconstruction work to take place. After the Pretoria Agreement, life-saving food assistance and medical supplies, infrastructure and social service institutions, fuel and all other necessary things have been accessible and delivering to the Tigray region by the Ethiopian government and international partners. Approached by ETV, Tigrayan politician Gadina Medin said the peace agreement reached between the federal government and TPLF is a vital step for long-lasting peace in the northern part of Ethiopia.
I was just, practicing politics so that to bring about peace to my country, to stop the war between two brothers and sisters. So I was first and foremost, I was happy when the agreement was signed, and then it continued to Nairobi. Then after that, our government, the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, took turned every stone to bring peace to Tigray and Ethiopia. Then the infrastructure, like the repairment of the roads and the electrical power supplies and telecommunication supplies and even the humanitarian aid and so on. So my observation is that the pace of the peace agreement is going well.
Regarding the disarmament of TPLF, the politician said it is a good start. However, heavy weapons should be removed from Tigray region for the sustainability of the peace in the country.
The precaution should be, we should move the weapons from Tigray to the hinterland, to the bigger Ethiopia, because sometimes, you remember when the North commandos targeted, it was one of the reasons for the heavy weaponry, which was situated in Tigray. So the precaution should be, we have to move the weaponry to Addis and so on, and the disarmament should continue.
Remembering some reckless politicians of Tigray and some members of the Tigray diaspora who are opposing the peace agreement, Gadina urged the government and Ethiopians to oppose them together and build peace in Ethiopia on a firm foundation.
In our business segment, the Somalia Civil Aviation Authority says strong cooperation in civil aviation sector will enable Ethiopia and Somalia strengthen their economic integration and people-to-people ties. Talking to Ethiopian news agency, the Somalia Civil Aviation Authority Director General Ahmed Moulin stressed that Ethiopia and Somalia are keen to enhance their cooperation, specifically in civil aviation. Tigusir Nisa has compiled Ena's file. Take a look.
Somali's Transport and Civil Aviation Minister Fardowsa Osman Egal and her delegation recently paid official working visit to Ethiopia. As part of the visit, Ethiopia and Somalia signed an agreement to work on the development of the aviation sector in partnership. In an exclusive interview with Ethiopian news agency, Somalia Civil Aviation Authority Director General Ahmed Moulin said Ethiopia and Somalia are keen to enhance their economic cooperation and people-to-people ties, specifically in civil aviation sector. He also pointed out that the recently signed agreement will help to expedite economic integration and people-to-people ties between the two nations. According to him, the agreement is essential for the operation of Ethiopian Airlines in giving unlimited access flights to Somalia.
This agreement was essential for the operation of Ethiopian Airlines. Somalia doesn't have a flag carrier, so it's mainly supporting now, as it is, supporting the operation of Ethiopian Airlines. So it gives unlimited access to Somali air travel market. So previously we had a bilateral air service agreement between the two states that was stating that Ethiopian Airlines can fly to Somalia twice a week. So it was limiting the frequency that Ethiopian Airlines can fly to Somalia. With this one, that restriction has been completely lifted, and Ethiopian Airlines can fly to Somalia with unlimited frequency. So that will facilitate the economy of the two states, free movement of people, services, and goods, because the cargo is also there. It's not only the passengers.
The agreement comes in the context of the direction of implementing Agenda 2063 of the African Union. It is to be noted that the leaders of Ethiopia and Somalia had agreed to further strengthen cooperation on bilateral and regional issues during Somali's President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud's visit to Addis Ababa last September.
In other development, Ethiopia has earned 32.61 million USD revenue from electric power exports to its neighboring countries during the past 5 months of the Ethiopian fiscal year. Mogas Mokonnin, Communication Director of the Ethiopian Electric Power, said Ethiopian Electric Power is supplying electric power for both to local consumption in neighboring countries. According to him, 32.61 million USD was obtained from the sale of 580 million kilowatt electricity to Sudan and Djibouti during the past stated period. The director further mentioned that Ethiopia has also commenced the supply of electric power to Kenya in accordance with the agreement made recently. Moreover, the demand for electric power by neighboring countries is increasing from time to time. Mogas said infrastructure expansion works are being carried out with a view to addressing this need. According to him, upon the completion of ongoing hydropower dam, including the Ethiopian Grand Renaissance Dam, the nation will be able to adequately respond to the rapidly growing power demands.
Welcome to the land of origins. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is pleased to serve all your traveler banking needs. If you have money from any of these 16 countries, you can convert it to local currency by visiting our nearest branch. Alternatively, our secure Forex ATMs accept cash exchange, or if you prefer using your cards, we've partnered with Visa, MasterCard, and UnionPay so that you can withdraw cash from our local ATMs or make cashless transactions at thousands of local POS partners securely and with confidence. We are linked with more than 700 global banks through our direct SWIFT address, CBE Teta. We also work with 16 international money transfer agents, out of which Tune and World Remit enable you to make direct deposits into our savings and current accounts or our popular CBE Burr mobile wallet. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, the bank you can always rely on.
Akwaba, Karibu, welcome to Ghana!
My name is Princess Umu Hatia. I am the globe-trotting princess and author. Welcome to my city, Accra. Accra is the capital of Ghana. Now, today I'm taking you on a tour to various places in the city. We're currently at the Independence Square in Accra. Now, the Independence Square is the second largest square in the world after Tiananmen Square. Now, Accra has about 4 million people. Accra is a major economic trading hub of Ghana. We're in Makola Market. Makola Market is the second largest market in West Africa. This is where I come to buy all my fabrics, food stuff. It's a busy, bustling place. It's a lovely place to come. So if you want to get any souvenirs, Makola Market is the place to come. Now, come on with me.
Aquaba, Aquaba, oh sister, I know be a brider. Give me one chance, make I be a fighter.
And finally, Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud called Thursday on ordinary people to help flush out members of the Al-Shabaab jihadist group he described as bedbugs. Mohamud was addressing large crowds at a government-organized rally against the Al-Qaeda-linked military held at a stadium in the capital Mogadishu under tight security. Tigisi Nisa once again has African news.
Hundreds of people rallied in a stadium in the Somali capital Thursday to denounce Al-Shabaab, an Islamist militant group fighting the central government. The group has been waging a violent insurgency against Mogadishu for 15 years. Addressing the rally, President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud urged the public to support the country's security forces.
Today, I want you to promise me that we work together on eradicating Al-Shabaab, because they are bedbugs in our clothes. We must clean and eradicate them soon. Promise.
The president declared an all-out war against the Islamist fighters shortly after he came to office in May last year. U.S. troops also returned to the country shortly after.
Today's rally is about us men and women coming out to say loudly that we don't want our blood to be shed on the ground meaninglessly. We also want Al-Shabaab eradicated from the country after 15 years of trouble.
In recent months, the army, backed by local clan militias, has retaken drugs of territory in the center of the country. Of the first out of Mogadishu, the group regularly carries out deadly bomb and gun attacks in the capital.
And now a recap of the top stories once again. France and Germany oath to support Africa's demand for permanent seat at UN Security Council. And Ethiopia and France inked €28 million grant agreement to support reconstruction efforts. You've been watching at this news hour with the Nusambina. Thank you for joining us. Now, goodbye for me now. Good night.